Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Thanks so much. If you want to check out today's questions, you can read along by going to stephencabral.com/2669. That is the number of today's show. Hopefully get to 5 to 6 of our community's questions, just like we do every Saturday and Sunday. Once again, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. Now let's dive into those questions. So the first question on all things wellness, weight loss, weight gain, anti-aging is from Anonymous. Anonymous says, hello, I've done the FM detox, followed by the CBO protocol, and now my third month of the CBO finisher. I have fibromyalgia and thought that my symptoms would subside, but they haven't. I also have arthritis in my fingers and all my chronic pain that moves through my body without any logic to it. I still have a white coating on my tongue, vaginal thrush. Sometimes it gets very itchy. I guess it depends on what time of the month it is, depending on my cycle or period. I was following the protocols and diet. I eat healthy anyways. Do you have any suggestions why I'm not feeling all the way better? Okay, yeah, happy to help. So again, in less than, I would say, 1% of all of the different people that do this, but I was one of these people. So Anonymous, I know where you're coming from because I was in the same boat. It is my highest recommendation that although you are following the protocols, you're doing a great job, you're being diligent, I have no doubt in my mind, is that if possible, you must be working with a practitioner. So you don't want to wait until the end of these protocols if you're not getting benefits. Because a practitioner can just say, if you're still feeling bloating, this is what we need to do. Like you should be getting better every 4 weeks. And I can't recommend this enough. I really can't. And keep in mind, there's all sorts of different pricing options based on the practitioner. So you could see a local naturopathic doctor and maybe they're $500 an hour, right? Like you might say, that's way too expensive. Totally understand, right? But then there's gonna be integrative health practitioners that are $180 for a month, which is like your appointment and it's all of your emails, follow-ups, like all of those different things. And it's just, I know there's an expense to these things, but it's like your health is the most important things. And if you're able to offset money that you're paying out in certain, groceries or whatever it is like, are you able to work with someone that can help personalize this for you? Because that's the bottom line. Like that's how you get well. And why am I sharing this with you? Because I was in the same boat as you. Like I did the same things. I followed the books, I read the things, and what I needed was my mentor, was one person that was able to put this all together for me, that was able to put the puzzle together. So it's not like you're not doing the right things, Anonymous, you are, right? And so I was doing the right things from not until about 19, 20. I got sick at 17, 19, 20, I started doing the right things, and little bit, and then all of a sudden, 27 years old to get well. I meet Dr. Pete. I had seen many other practitioners. She was the one who put it all together for me, but I'd already done so much of the work. I just needed that last little bit. And for you, again, it could be a lack of stomach acid. That could be literally the only thing that you're missing. Like the CBO protocol worked. It's like the FM detoxes help, like all these things. But, if you are not producing enough stomach acid, it might be why you have the white coating on the tongue. It might be why you continue to get yeast overgrowth. Like you need some acid coming in from the stomach that breaks down food properly so things don't ferment. I'm not saying that this is the answer, but what I'm saying is a qualified practitioner is going to be able to listen to exactly what you're going through and then be able to walk you through the process, okay? So you can also just run the Big 5 labs. And the Big 5 labs come with a 90-minute consultation. You can run that with the Equalife team, or you can run it with, we don't have anything to do with these practitioners. If you go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org/practitioner, so just go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org, you'll be able to click on the practitioner tab. They all run their own businesses, their own practices. You can see someone in your local area, or you can see anybody in the world. Whoever you feel you connect with best, you're able to chat with them. But again, I want to help you. What I do is I run labs. That's how I help people. Because I just say, okay, of course I want to help you, Anonymous. But I don't know where we need to start. It could be stress. It could be stress might be the main thing right now, right? So we need to look at that. And that's how I can best help. And so again, I appreciate you. I know it's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I appreciate you writing it. All right, Kaylee's up next. Hi, I was wondering if you've helped anybody with Pinguecula We'll see if that's the correct pronunciation. Most likely not. Someone will let me know on that. I've seen an eye doctor and said there was nothing to get rid of it. Just wear glasses and use eye drops. I eat paleo. I'm on a prenatal, magnesium, probiotic, omegas, and work out regularly. I'm trying to heal my menstrual problems right now, but other than that, I'm healthy. Any advice would be awesome. Thank you. Happy to help, without a doubt. So just to let you know, it's typically when you look at the white of someone's eye, every once in a while, you'll see in the white of someone's eye, there's like a little yellowish bump. It's not bright yellow. It's just a yellowish tinge typically to the white sclera or white of the eye. And oftentimes it occurs on like the inner part where the conjunctiva, you can get conjunctivitis there, the inside of the eye. And it's thought to be deposits of maybe calcium, some fat, some proteins that end up there. What I've seen it correlate the most with is overall inflammation, higher levels of stress, which can pull calcium out of the bones itself too, and also lead to things like eye floaters, which is not related specifically to what we're talking about right there. So here's what I'd recommend. Again, I can't provide any medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis, or medical cures, diagnosis, treatments, or whatever it might be of any kind. Whatever the last one I'm supposed to say is. So here's the thing. If it were me, I would be using something like the Daily Foundational Protocol with the omega-3s, the methylated Bs, the daily fruit and vegetable blend, all that good stuff. I'd be using my vitamin D for my overall immune system. And then I would add on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning and then right before bed, 2 proteolytic enzymes. And I would do that for 2 to 3 months because we've seen some remarkable things happen when using something like fluorofilm. That's probably what I would do, is I would actually do 2 fluorofilm and 2 proteolytic enzymes on empty stomach first thing in the morning. That's what I would do. And I just want to let you know, because the job of those things is to go in and eat up proteins, necrotic tissue, etc. It's remarkable for so many people with inflammation imbalances. So that's a great thing. And then, yes, because if you're use digestive enzymes, I could go into this, but the lipases can sometimes break down fat. So we've just seen great results with enzymes, basically. Lipases, fluorofilm, proteolytic enzymes, all of these can be found at stephencabral.com/shop. And I hope that it works the same for you, because besides that, typically, once it's grown, the only known thing I believe is surgery. And of course, you have to be careful with surgery around the eyes. All right. Thank you for writing in, Kayla. Andrew's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I was hoping you could help me with this reaction my daughter is having every time she gets into a hot tub treated with bromine. Her skin breaks out in a rash similar to eczema. It's extremely painful, and it's itchy, and it's all over her torso. Let's see, arms and legs. The rash persists for 4 to 6 weeks at a time, depending on the severity. The reaction only happens in hot tubs treated with bromine, not chlorine. Have you ever heard of this before? Would you recommend us do the heavy metal test and maybe the stress metabolism for our thyroid? What else? Thank you in advance for answering this question. It's a great question. I wish I knew exactly how old your daughter was, but it's okay, not leaving that inside the question. And I have not seen this in particular. I haven't. So I always like to let you know that if I haven't seen it, I haven't seen it. What I would look for, again, I don't know that this is a known sensitivity, but people could react to chlorine as well. It's pretty abrasive. I mean, these things are chemicals that kill bacteria in the water. I'm wondering, because I often had reactions on my skin when I was not my healthiest. Now, it wasn't this. It was something called folliculitis. And the issue was I was using antibacterial soaps. We just grew up using antibacterial soaps because your doctor says kill all bacteria everywhere, right? All the time. And so what I had to do was over time basically heal my skin microbiome. Now your skin microbiome, and this is worth looking into. Sorry, what was your name here? Andrea. It's worth looking into. The skin microbiome is very important. And so the way I was able to help it over time was actually just using apple cider vinegar as a toner in certain areas, stopping to use the antibacterial soaps, beginning to use just natural soaps like olive oil soaps or coconut soaps, and then just getting my gut healthy was a really important one. So I'm actually leaning towards you running the starter kit, more importantly than even the thyroid, even though the thyroid could be a great one. And yes, I would look at that. So again, depending on how old your daughter is, run the Big Five if possible. If not, starter kit. And then the third one, I agree with you, that would be the stress, mood, and metabolism, okay? Because you want to look for heavy metals, you want to look for gut-based issues, and then yes, we'd want to look at that thyroid as well. So here's the thing though, and I want to give this for everybody. One of the things that when my daughters used to take a swim class in this pool with chlorine, a couple things you could do. First is make sure like if they're running around, they're sweaty or whatever it might be, you always wash off first because the sweat's actually more of an activator for chlorine, which is not a good thing, or bromine. So then what you want to do is you can just apply like some type of topical, and I've talked about this before on my podcast, whether it's coconut oil or anything else. And then it's almost like a barrier to the skin. And then after that, what you can do is shower or bathe with vitamin C powder as well. So you can add in your Epsom if you want to, no problem. But we used to drop in vitamin C tablets. I probably have them on a podcast. So again, I would ask at cabralsupportgroup.com. I've done a lot of podcasts on this before. And so I'm sure the team will be able to find that for you. But we always did that. So basically we shower off right away at the pool. And then later that night, they would do, and even before if they could, some vitamin C tablets. And then we'd always just give them vitamin C too. And then they get their daily activated multivitamin, excuse me, or daily nutritional support daily, and then has a little bit of iodine as well. Okay. Thank you, Andrea, for writing it in. I wish I could be more helpful. Hope's up next. I recently got diagnosed with hypothyroidism and osteoporosis. I took Prilosec for 20 years. I hear from different medical doctors that gluten in dairy is a no. My questions are, one, is fermented milk okay, like kefir or yogurt? Is gluten DI to the new GMO wheat? Is gluten... Maybe it says directly tied to the new GMO wheat. I don't know. Are ancient grains okay to consume? I also hear no to rice, potatoes, oatmeal, coconut oil. I consume these products regularly. Please help me with this frustrating and confusing subject. Thanks. Yes, happy to help. And the truth is that nobody can tell you whether gluten or dairy is okay for you. I would agree that most cow's milk is not healthy and most gluten is not healthy. I would agree with that. Okay. But, could you have something like kefir or yogurt? Well, it all depends. Like, what does your gut microbiome look like? Do you have bacterial overgrowth? Because if so, maybe not the best thing for you, right? And so, that's how we start to nuance this. So, and then in general, goat's milk or sheep's milk-based yogurt or kefir, much healthier. GMO wheat, certainly not okay. Are ancient grains okay? Well, again, it depends on who are we asking, right? Because if you have gut-based issues, they're probably going to be eliminated for at least the first 3 weeks. But then after that, millet or gluten-free oats or things like that, people can do sometimes fantastically well with. Rice, potatoes, again, this is just getting deep in the weeds. There's nothing wrong inherently with especially yams or Japanese yams or sweet potatoes or other items like that can be totally fine. Again, it's based on the individual. And then some rice is great too. It should be arsenic free. It should be, a good clean rice, but for a lot of people, they work totally fine. Same with some coconut oil too. So what the best thing is okay, well, what works for me? So you can just do this. You could run just the IgG food sensitivity test. That's a great place to start. But if you have diagnosed hypothyroidism, low thyroid, and osteoporosis, weakening of the bones. You took Prilosec for 20 years. That means you kind of eliminated a lot of the stomach acid, so you weren't breaking down your food properly. Means you might be calcium, magnesium, zinc, and B12 deficient. We should look at that, right? So I recommend this. If you're taking it for 20 years, even if you started when you were I was taking it 14, 15 years old, which is crazy. But let's say you're doing it at 18. You started a little later than me. Then, you're 38 years old at least. I would run the Big Five if you've never run the Big Five. So go to stephencabral.com/Big Five. You'll see what those are. It comes with a whole consultation so that there's no more guesswork. And you actually get a plan that's built for you. Because what so many people need out there is a plan that's built for them. And again, you don't need to run the labs through us if you don't want to. I always say that. You can find just make sure they're qualified, a local naturopathic doctor. You can go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org and find a practitioner there as well. So please, keep your options open. Do what you feel is best for you. But we are at a point right now where there's no need to guess. We can just test. That's it. I can tell you exactly what's going to affect your body and not going to affect your body. And you may be someone that needs to do a gut healing based protocol, most likely start with a functional medicine detox, but your labs will tell us what we should do. All right. All right. Erin's up next and last. Erin says, this happens to me when I have been active a lot the day before. I wake up feeling puffy and swollen. I know I've consumed plenty of electrolytes that day before, so what could cause this? What do I do to prevent it? I really appreciate the input. Erin, happy to help with this. Two things. One, it could be the electrolytes themselves. Believe it or not, it could be the electrolytes that make you swollen. And the reason is that many of these electrolytes out there, especially one of the most popular ones right now, has a 10-to-1 ratio of sodium to potassium. Nobody should be taking an electrolyte that has a ratio of sodium to potassium of 10-to-1 unless you are a big-time sweater, that you sweat in enormous amounts, and on your clothing, you see some like white stains from literally the sodium coming out of your body. And then yes, those people can do well with a high sodium to lower potassium electrolyte. Most people need more of a balanced electrolyte, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 to 1 maximum sodium potassium. Some people need closer to a 2 to 1 or a 1 to 1. So just keep that in mind, that it could literally be your electrolyte. Now, here's how to do it. Very simple, right? Don't take your electrolyte for a week. Do the same exercises because you have to only change one variable. Are you less swollen? Well, if you're not swollen, it was the electrolyte. Okay, so that's good. You just need something that's a little bit more balanced, that's all. Okay, now the second one is this. Your electrolyte may be totally fine, because I don't want to throw electrolytes under the bus. They could be great. Okay, so what do we do? Well, it could be inflammation. So if you're very active the day before, you could be having a larger histamine, cytokine, inflammatory response. And this is not uncommon, especially with people with a more Th2 dominance to resistance training or weight-based workouts. So all we need to see is what is your level of being active that doesn't lead to this swelling. We call that a graduated exercise program or protocol that we gradually build up. Because you might be able to do cardio, no problem, some body weight training, no problem, but when you do a HIIT class, you get swollen. Or really heavy strength training, like 3 sets of 12 where you're really pushing yourself, or 5 sets of 5, something like that. Maybe again, like more neurologically challenging even, that you get more inflamed. So you're gonna be able to figure this out, literally, journal, figuring out what it is that you're doing. And if it's only an exercise days, okay, now is it electrolyte based or do you do electrolytes every day? Okay, if electrolytes are every day and you're only swollen the days after working out, okay, it's from the workout. So now what workouts can you do that don't lead to swelling? That's how we figure things out in my practice. Like honestly, it's all about variables, and we're able to figure out anything. And it's not because there's any magic to it, it's because we're willing to work and understand the process of every variable creates a positive or negative outcome, almost never neutral. So what are we doing right now to get rid of a lot of the negative outcomes and promote more positive outcomes? So we teach this too inside of integrativehealthpractitioner.org. If you're ever interested in learning more about the health program that I teach for people to become health coaches, the health coach in their home all around the world, check that out. It's integrativehealthpractitioner.org. We really go deep on these things. And so I just know that a lot of people and their families would benefit if they were, the health coach in their home, if they were someone that had this knowledge that could be passed on to other generations. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, always trying to just do my part, even if it's, just moving you one step closer to whatever that answer may be. So thanks as always for tuning in. I appreciate you. I thank you. Of course, share the show as always if it can help. And I'll be back tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Don't miss it. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.